Okay, bitch. Is that rude? Am I allowed to call you guys bitch? Bitch, let's discuss. What are we talking about today? Last week, I was talking about how being an influencer is not sustainable. And okay, wow, I don't know what just happened there, but that was weird. I think there's a ghost in my room. Anyway, so I was talking about how last week I was talking about how being an influencer and just living on social media is not sustainable. And today I want to talk about how being in your 20s is just not sustainable. Sometimes I wonder, like, what did I learn in school? Because I'm like, wow, all those years of being in school and now I'm an adult and I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing. The reason I'm making this video is because I want to talk about the feeling of feeling left behind, feeling like everyone else is flourishing and you are not, and why we have those feelings and why we need to delete that. But basically, the reason I'm making this video is because yesterday I went to an event. I bumped into an old friend that I went to college with. So haven't seen her in forever, and now we're catching up and she's like, oh my gosh, congratulations on your life, bitch, you're flourishing. And I'm like, bitch, no, like you are flourishing. Wow, congratulations. And we ended up just being the Spider-Man meme. Just being like, wow, like you are it. At the end of the conversation, we were like, oh wait, no, actually, we both have no idea what we're doing. We're both struggling with this whole adulting thing. Like being in your 20s is just, it's an unpaid internship. Like, what is this? But I struggle a lot with envy and just feeling overwhelmed by the illusion that I'm left behind, that I'm like moving too slow through my life and everyone around me is just flourishing. And then I just realized that we are all pretending. And I think what it is that capitalism has sold us lies that success is a destination instead of a journey. Because as soon as you pursue anything outside of yourself is an illusion. Success is a moving target. Today, you want to have $1 million. By the time you reach $1 million, you're already so focused on having $50 million that you don't even realize that you've reached your destination. But at the same time, I also feel this overwhelming pressure. And I can't quite pinpoint where it comes from. But also just the overwhelming pressure that, like, if I'm literally not a millionaire by the time I hit 30, I will literally die. And I think that's literally how it feels like to be in your 20s, to feel like, wow, if I'm not Oprah by the age of 30, I will collapse and die. Like, what, you know what I mean? And it's just not realistic. I think on one hand, being African, being a child of immigrants, we carry the burden, the responsibility of like, I must carry my family name and I must make my ancestors proud and I have to begin like generational wealth. We start to take on these burdens and these responsibilities and these debts that we really don't have to, because as soon as we start taking them on, those burdens are a distraction from who we really are. Not to get all like philosophical and existential. Actually, no, that is what we're here to do on this channel. We're here to get philosophical. I think like if you are worrying about what your purpose is, you're not living. I feel like the people who are really rooted in their purpose are not even concerned with the type of like existential questions that keep me awake at night. And for me, it's gotten so bad that I literally have nightmares almost every day. So I'm very sleep deprived. And maybe why I may or may not sound delirious, or maybe why my eyes are so bloodshot right now. But I literally have so much anxiety right now that like I can't even sleep, because I just keep having nightmares that like everything is falling apart, or that like I'm falling off a cliff. Just, you know what I mean? And I think talking about our shared experiences, because another reason why we feel so left behind is the fact that you feel like you're the only person who feels this way. But the more that I talk to people about the fact that I feel like I'm falling behind in life, and the fact that I have no idea what I'm doing. And like, like life is just wild when you're a 20 something year old. The more I realize, like, every single person, even people who are like 30, 40, 50, are also just constantly reinventing themselves and redefining themselves and trying to figure out what their lives are. So we're all just in the same boat. But I think where like social media and celebrity culture and Twitter is ruining your life as well. But that's another conversation for another video. I recently deleted Twitter because I feel that not only is Twitter a cesspool of toxic feminism, we'll get into that. I feel like Twitter feminism is very regressive, but not only is it a cesspool of toxic feminism, it's also just a cesspool of negativity and like cancel culture and let's drag each other and let's be extra for retweets. And it's just very performative. And I feel like the performative nature of social media and internet culture and celebrity culture means that we are all pretending. And it's really crazy that we're all pretending and trying to put on this facade of like a really accomplished, successful, polished life, when no one is interested in facades and polished lives and perfection anyway. What people are really interested in is like connecting, and connection happens when we're all being real. There's just a disconnect with what's happening in our digital lives, which have now become more important than our real lives. And that is definitely part of the issue, is that, and I talk about this in my last video, we've prioritized our digital selves over our real life human selves. But when we do that, we actually make our online lives more real than our human in the flesh lives. This is kind of starting to sound like an apocalyptic horror movie. But I think that's just sort of like what society's becoming. Like, is this the apocalypse where we are being replaced by our own digital selves? Like, this is gonna be a movie. I'm gonna turn this into a movie. But we're like creating these worlds that exist in screens, and these worlds that we're creating, which are actually just simulations, have become more real than our actual real physical lives in this three-dimensional plane. Loneliness is one of the top 3 killers in the world, and that's because like we are all just performing. And I would urge every single one of you to look at the areas in your life and like to look at the relationships in your life and just be like, how much of this is real, how much of this is me, and how much of this is a performance for other people. I feel like if you're African or like from, immigrant family things, a lot of us perform identities and personalities just for the comfortability of our families. And when we do that, we literally forget who we are. And all of this performing that we perform in our relationships, we perform romance, we perform on social media, we perform happiness. All of our emotions are literally just becoming simulations. And we're forgetting how to be real life human beings. Like we're forgetting, and it's really worrying and it's really wild. And again, I don't know what the point of this video is. If you can relate, let me know in the comment section below. I'm actually running really late. I'm supposed to go to work. I'm already like 10 minutes late. So that's my crackhead rant for the day. The moral of the story is, let's not perform so much. Let's go back to being real human beings, or else our pixelated digital simulation selves, although I think we're probably also a simulation, will actually start to take over our real three-dimensional lives, and that'll be the end of us. Not to be dramatic or anything. Let's turn that into a movie. That sounds like a movie. Any filmmakers out there, hit me up. I'll direct. Let's continue the conversation about like toxic social media culture, toxic celebrity culture, toxic Twitter culture, toxic Instagram culture, especially, Facebook. Honestly, the only social media platform that I think is healthy to some degree is YouTube. Let me know in the comment section below, what is your relationship with being in your 20s? And feeling behind, and thank you guys so much for watching this video all the way to the end. You have no idea how much I appreciate anyone who listens to the end. Let's encourage being real human beings. Let's encourage real human connection. Let us not forget who we are in the pursuit of creating false illusory selves. And don't forget to follow me after all that. Follow me on Instagram because I do these things on my stories and they're so fun. Love them. I do these things on my Instagram stories where I ask questions, you know, using the question thing. Just questions about how we're all doing. Like, what is your biggest challenge with being in your 20s? What are some of the ways that you lie to yourselves and to other people? Just things like that. I have a lot of conversations and I'd love for you all, because I feel like my comment sections on YouTube are really quite lit. And let's like make them cross-platformy. That's that on that. This is a very long goodbye. I'm gonna run because I'm late. Thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to subscribe. Let me know what your relationship with internet culture is. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye.